10 of the world's strangest, rarest and most unusual types of apples. From the moment Eve bit into the first apple, we all knew that this would be a fruit that temptation couldn't resist. Back to modern day times, and the saying goes that an apple will keep the doctor away, and it is true that some apples are healthy. 1. Wax apples. This delicious looking fruit goes by so many names it is impossible to name them all. Love apples, Java, royal, bell fruit, cloud, wax jambu, and some even call it a bell fruit. Being one of the more exotic varieties of apples, this is also one of the rarest apart from the South African places that grow it naturally. Square apples. There will be lots of people holding up the photoshopped cards, but you would be wrong. These really are grown by a plantation in Cheongju, South Korea as farming scholarships. But there is a cube-shaped mold that they grow in. Apples have always been known for being round or heart-shaped, but one Chinese company has decided to play around with this notion and bring their customers something new. Fruit Mold Co. grow their fruits and vegetables in a natural environment, but they decide to lend a helping to give their produce the star quality. In the initial growing stages of the apple, they place a square mold around the fruit. Because of this, the apple has to grow in a square shape because it has nowhere else to go. It only has the option to grow within the mold, and that's exactly what it does. It's believed that this shape allows for better storage and transportation. The black diamond. It should come as no surprise to learn that the black apple is black in color, but they have also been given the mysterious name of the black diamond. That's because these apples are extremely rare, and getting your hands on one isn't easy. It seems as though the black diamond apple is not only different in its appearance. Those who have eaten this rare fruit have noted that the black apple also tastes very different from the red or green apple. It's believed that the thick skin and flesh of the apple means that it's much crispier than the average Granny Smith or Pink Lady, and the taste of the apple is also much sweeter. This is because they are chock full of glucose that gives it a perfectly natural and sweet taste. Black diamond apples are not easy to grow. Because they are cultivated under such harsh and diverse conditions, they take much longer to grow than the average apple. While any other apple will take between 2 to 3 years to fully mature, the black apple could take up to 8 years to do this. Carambola star apple. It does go under several names like carambola, star fruit and star apple, but it really is an apple. It does have a mildly tart taste apparently, but it makes for a great snack. Sadly, it just doesn't have all the healing properties that its Jamaican brother has. Carambola, also known as star fruit, is the fruit of Avaroa carambola, a species of tree native to tropical Southeast Asia. The fruit is commonly consumed throughout Southeast Asia, the South Pacific, Micronesia, parts of East Asia, and the Caribbean. The tree is cultivated throughout tropical areas of the world. The fruit has distinctive ridges running down its sides, usually 5 to 6. When cut in cross-section, it resembles a star, giving its name as star fruit. The entire fruit is edible, usually raw, and may be cooked or made into relishes, preserves, garnish, and juices. Hawaii mountain apple. With a very distinct shape, taste and seed in the middle, there is not much you could confuse it with. These smaller pear-shaped apples are said to have a strange taste of rose petals and apple. It is said that they originally from Malaysia, but they were brought to Hawaii by the Polynesians. The Hawaiian mountain apple is a tropical fruit. The thin outer skin has a very waxy texture that is smooth, shiny, and very delicate. As the Hawaiian mountain apple ripens, the skin becomes a darker shade of red, with occasional spots of pink and white. The white pulp of the Hawaiian mountain apple offers a very crisp texture similar to jicama, is juicy and overall tart flavor with lingering sweet nuances, reminiscent of ripe pear. They range from pale pink to brilliant, dark, ruby red. They're crazy shiny, slightly pear-shaped, or heart-shaped, if you're a romantic, and when they're in season, they seem to be absolutely everywhere. Some people liken their shape, taste and texture as apple-like, just like their color. Ohia, are remarkably shiny, like a well-polished apple, but their lovely soft, yet somewhat crunchy texture is much more like a ripe camas pear than any apple. The flavor, too, has a light sweetness and delicate flavor that isn't foreign to someone who has eaten a pear or two in their time. Inside the shiny skins is soft, cream-colored flesh that also will remind many people of yes, you guessed it, pears. At the center of ohia are dark, hard seeds. Jamaican star apple. Not only are these star-shaped apples a very unusual shape, but apparently they are also really good for you. As with most apples, the health benefits include the ability to soothe inflammation in laryngitis and pneumonia, a treatment for diabetes mellitus, and as a decoction is gargled to relieve angina and even used to overcome intestinal disturbances. It's not just an apple, it is an edible medical kit. Chrysophyllum caneto, more commonly known as star apple, is known by many names ranging from purple star apple to milk fruit, tar apple, and aguai. The most common name derives from its purple outer skin and a seed pattern that looks like a star. Sweet and aromatic, the fruit has a variety of medicinal properties that Jamaicans have used for health and wellness for centuries. Star apple is rich in trace minerals, multiple vitamins, and other elements the body needs for health. It's become a staple in traditional medicinal practices throughout the Caribbean. The rind is bitter, full of latex, and isn't consumed. There's also a green-skinned variety that contains the same properties. Star apples are round and approximately 2 to 4 inches in diameter at maturity. Its skin is smooth, leathery, and depending on variety either purple to red or yellow to green in color. The inner rind of the purple variety is dark purple and in green fruits white. This rind surrounds a soft, creamy, white pulp as well as 6 to 11 gelatinous seed cells. When the fruit is cut in half, the gelatinous cells form a star shape, hence the name of the fruit. Some of the cells encase small, pointed, flat, black seeds. Fruits can contain anywhere between 3 and 10 seeds, those with fewer seeds tend to have the best flavor. The pulp of the star apple is aromatic and has a tropical sweet flavor with nuances of apple, lychee and persimmon. Ripe star apples will be slightly wrinkled and dull in color with a soft give when squeezed. To fully ripen, keep at room temperature and once ripe store in the refrigerator. White Pippin apples. If you pick some of the smaller Pippin apples before they are ripe, you do end up with an almost pure white apple. But you are not going to see these in the shops anytime soon because apparently, they do taste quite bitter. White Pippin's origin is unknown, but it dates to the early 1800s and was once widely grown in parts of the Midwest. A round, medium to large, yellow-green apple with a pink blush, it has crisp white flesh, is juicy, and has nicely balanced flavor, with hints of citrus and vanilla. Pippin apples are round, ovate, to oblong fruits with a slightly lopsided appearance. The skin is smooth, waxy, ribbed, and ranges in color from light green to yellow-green, covered in prominent lenticels and the occasional pink blush. The surface surrounding the stem may also be covered in a rough, brown russet. Underneath the skin, the flesh is crisp, pale green to white, fine-grained, aqueous, and aromatic. Pippin apples are initially astringent and tart when harvested, mellowing in flavor when kept in cold storage. Once the apple has increased its sugar content in storage, the flesh develops a sweet tart flavor with notes of pine, citrus, walnut, and green tea. Half green, half red apple. Fruit farmer Ken Moorish has been picking fruit from his apple tree for over 60 years. But in the rarest of the rarest, 2 different types of apple seed merged and have grown a perfect half-and-half apple. Stats-wise, only 1 in 10 million apples grown from the same area will do this. Mr. Moorish, a retired painter and decorator, added, "I couldn't believe my eyes. The red and green split through the stem is totally perfect, as if I've painted it. It's a genuine one-off and none of us have ever seen an apple like it before." Experts believe that the odds of finding an apple with such a perfect line between the green and the red are more than 1,000,000 to 1. In such cases, the red side usually tastes sweeter than the green side, because it has seen more sunshine during its growth. John Breach, chairman of the British Independent Fruit Growers Association, told the Daily Mail, "I've never seen this happen before to a Golden Delicious. It is extremely rare. It is an extreme mutation. There has been the occasional case of this type reported. If there was a whole branch of apples with the same coloring, then fruit experts would get even more excited." Jim Arbery, fruit superintendent at RHS Garden Wisley in Surrey, said it was probably the result of a random genetic mutation. This is known as a chimera, where one of the first two cells has developed differently, giving rise to one half of the apple being different, he said. Custard apple. This is one of the only ones on this list that I have actually tried myself, and I can tell you this. They really do taste exactly like custard. I know that is why it got its name, but it really does taste exactly the same, which I found very weird indeed. The sugar apple, or sweetsop, is the fruit of Anana squamosa, the most widely grown species of Anana and a native of the tropical Americas and West Indies. The Spanish traders of Manila galleons brought it to Asia. The name is also used in Portuguese as ota. The flesh is fragrant and sweet, creamy white through light yellow, and resembles and tastes like custard. It is found adhering to 13 to 16 millimeter long seeds, forming individual segments arranged in a single layer around a conical core. It is soft, slightly grainy, and slippery. The hard, shiny seeds may number 20-40 or more per fruit and have a brown to black coat, although varieties exist that are almost seedless. There are also new varieties being developed in Taiwan. The Atamoya, or pineapple sugar apple, a hybrid between the sugar apple and the cherimoya, is popular in Taiwan, although it was first developed in the US in 1908. The fruit is similar in sweetness to the sugar apple but has a very different taste. As its name suggests, it tastes like pineapple. A custard apple is ripe when you gently squeeze it and it gives slightly under your hand. Much the same as an avocado. You can buy custard apples ready to eat, or still hard to the touch, and let it ripen over the next few days after purchase. If you want to hasten the ripening process, then simply put the fruit into a brown paper bag with a banana and leave it on the kitchen bench. The banana will accelerate the ripening of the custard apple. Custard apples are only eaten when soft, and only the flesh is eaten. To eat, simply cut in half and scoop out the white flesh. The custard apple should be moist with a pleasant sweet aroma. Once ripe, custard apples can be stored in the fridge for up to 3 days. Once the skin has gone purple or black, they have passed their best eating quality. Red love apples. Another weird and wonderful apple to add to this list is the red love apple. We have a Swiss farmer by the name of Marcus Kobelt to thank for bringing this beautiful apple hybrid into the world, and he did that by cross-pollinating scab-resistant and red-fleshed plants. This created an intriguing apple that is not only red on the outside but also red on the inside. Normally, apples always have white flesh, no matter the color on the outside. For this apple, though, Marcus knew that he wanted to bring something to the table. He has since trademarked his creation and is selling them across the world.